You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. The first ever Winnipeg Baroque Festival kicks off this weekend with the choral forces of Canzona, Dead of Winter, and Polycoro joining together in a celebration of 17th and 18th century music. Exploring masterworks and overlooked gems of the English, German, and Italian Baroque era, the unprecedented collaboration features three of the city's top ensembles made up of some of the best singers in the province. Joining me to tell us more is Canzona Artistic Director Kathleen Allen, Roland Deschambault, Executive Director of Dead of Winter, and Polycoro Executive and Creative Director Zore Gervais. Welcome back to Classic 107, all.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Well, it's so great to see everybody, and this to me, and I think to many, feels like a sort of triumphant return to live choral music after a moratorium that had this vibrant Manitoba singing community falling silent. Kathleen, what do you think it means to have a reemergence as grand as this, a festival with not one, but three outstanding choirs showcasing their passion for the Baroque era?
It's so exciting, and we've been looking forward to this for about 2 years. The idea has been in the works for a really long time, and it was conceived as this way to come out of the pandemic. We know we're not quite there yet, but it still feels like we're in a moment where we can celebrate singing together. We can do it safely, and it means so much more than any one of us just putting on a big concert. The fact that this collaboration is happening, and hopefully we'll be establishing this relationship, this collaborative partnership for years to come.
You know, Roland, after so much isolation, it feels like collaboration is even more important now. I imagine, you know, that, as Kathleen was just telling us a little bit more, the idea behind this festival, right? Coming together to celebrate song.
Yeah, absolutely. Kathleen says 2 years, and I think that maybe it's been something that has been bandied about for even longer than that. I mean, the idea of collaborating, essentially, we're all kind of reaching similar audiences, and in a lot of cases there's a lot of crossover, so it really makes sense for us to be sharing our talents and singers that we all share as well in a lot of ways, and just combine it all together for one glorious event, you know. And on a personal level, it's amazing to be able to work with these wonderful people from these organizations, and it makes us realize, like, really how similar we are, but also the skill sets that everybody brings that can strengthen specifics to the festival. It's been quite exciting.
And I'm really excited to hear more about the unique perspectives that each of the groups is going to bring. But just kind of one more overview of the festival. Zore, I'm wondering, as a member of the choir community, as a soprano with Polycoro, as someone who's been active in the classical music scene for most of your professional life, how unique is an event like this, a choral Baroque festival?
I mean, in my experience, this hasn't happened in Winnipeg before, certainly not with multiple organizations participating. And I think it's kind of a uniquely Winnipeg thing, first off, because we have such a wonderful spirit of collaboration in the city. And then also because there's such a love of the Baroque in the city, you know, like that's something that really our audiences across the board love. And so it's really cool as a singer to get to participate in, you know, such a wide array of Baroque music and to bring that to Winnipeg audiences together.
Kathleen, the festival begins with a showcase of music written for two queens, Mary and Anne, though written under very different circumstances. Tell us a little bit about the contrasting works that kick off the festival on Friday.
Sure. We start with some music by Henry Purcell, who was a very important composer in the court of Queen Mary. He wrote this music for her funeral. It's called The Funeral Sentences for Queen Mary. And they are so dramatic and stunning. So different from Bach. I actually was talking to one of the singers after a rehearsal. We had a Bach rehearsal for the St. John Passion one night, and then a rehearsal for our concert the other night. He said, I'm exhausted because I feel like I've sung the whole range of human expression and vocal technique in the past 24 hours. So it really is something very different from what I've done with Canzona in my time. The English Baroque repertoire is so special, it's stunning. We get these dissonances between the parts that are just like heartbreaking. So we start with that. There's going to be drum and brass from the WSO that sort of march us in this really dramatic, semi-staged way. And then we totally change gears and we sing birthday music for Queen Anne. by Handel. It's explosive. It's like fireworks. So these queens were sisters. We're sort of drawing that thread, but showing these really contrasting styles. I should also mention that we're doing a world premiere by Juno nominee Dorothy Chang in the middle of the program, and she has written this beautiful response to a shorter work by Henry Purcell.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a really fascinating fashion. And like you say, a sort of semi-staged procession that kicks this festival off with WSO musicians. I mean, talk about a fanfare. Then from night 2 on Saturday, the 9th, Dead of Winter, performing music of Heinrich Schütz. Roland, tell us a little bit about this concert and a special guest conductor who's going to be coming to town.
Yeah, we're really excited to have David Fallows join us from Toronto, a celebrated conductor and educator. And I think I will let Kathleen add more to his accolades, as she is much more familiar with him. But I do want to say that what I bring sort of to the perspective of a festival like this is that I am new to this music. And we want to reach out to a newer audience, and the excitement that I'm able to take out of this, hopefully people realize that this beautiful music is out there and will be more amenable to attending these types of concerts. But
yeah, I mean, that's just it, right? It's that idea of exploring the music of the repertoire and coming with open ears. And as Kathleen just corrected me, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Dead of Winter is going to be on Sunday, not Saturday. David Fallows coming to town. I'm just excited about this whole thing. I mean, I just book off the 8th through the 10th. I don't know if you can, set up inside Crescent Fort Rouge United Church and have some sort of 2-night sleepover, but it's a really big deal to be there. So the point is, don't leave. Kathleen, can you tell us a little bit more about David Fallows and this program that Dead of Winter will be performing? You must be excited yourself, as maybe not as a conductor, that too, but just as someone who loves Baroque music, right?
Absolutely. I can't wait as an audience member to attend Dead of Winter's concert on Sunday afternoon. David Fallows is one of not only Canada's leading Baroque interpreters, but really in the world. He is a leading figure. He's conducted in Versailles. He is the resident conductor for Opera Atelier. He works a lot in opera in this Baroque genre that was really kind of burgeoning at the time. And he has this understanding of how the music is put together in a way that marries the text and the story and the drama with this absolutely sparkling music from the Baroque time. So he's going to be such an exciting figure to watch and to listen to Dead of Winter. They're performing the Schütz Musikalische Exequien, which is a German requiem, one of the first in the German language, a really, really important piece when we're talking about Baroque music history. And I believe some other German works paired on that program. So really not to miss, especially for our Winnipeg audience who's so in love with German Baroque music.
Yeah, music of Scheit, music of Shine, also on the program, and Dead of Winter playing with that idea of he shoots, he scores, a nod to all the hockey fans out there, which is just a ton of fun, bringing a little bit of levity to this hallowed musical genre. And then, Zoré, tell us a little bit about Polycoro, who will be transporting us to the Italian Baroque, right?
Yeah, we're doing some super cool, very obscure Italian Baroque music. So we're singing some pieces from the early Italian Baroque. I think we start off around, even with some Lafus. We've got some De Mac and some Laurencio, it's Ugolini, and then a really wild piece by Giorgi called Terra Tremuit, where we're just kind of like shaking the world like it's, written about earthquakes. And ending with a fantastic piece that I'd never heard of by a composer I'd never even heard of called Pitoni. So there's a lot of super exciting music in this particular concert. It's very high energy. All of it is one person per part. And in typical Polycoro style, most of it is a cappella or with just organ continuo. And so some of the music is 4 to 5 parts. So 4 or 5 singers, but the majority of it is all polychoral. So we've got 16 different voices singing 16 different parts for the majority of the concert, and it's just phenomenal. Paired with that, we have a really cool projection. So on the stage, we're going to have some digital projections that have been created by a phenomenal artist out of Edmonton named Jason Fung. And so he's created all of these. He's also a musician. He's created them all to go with the music, and we'll even be modifying them in live time as if you were at a rave. So it's going to be a pretty cool party, I think.
Definitely sounds like it. And like you say, I mean, Polycoro, singing one per part, that is no easy feat. And Polycoro so often kind of fuses together the arts, exploring, multimedia in a concert. I'm thinking back, I know I bring it up all the time, but that Path of Miracles show with Deco Dawson, another projectionist. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I might be reaching, but this sort of feels like a really fascinating take on the Baroque choral experience as it would have been back in the day. I mean, so much of this music written for grand churches with lots to look at, hence the projection, and then also the sheer size and exploring space and using those polychoral forces. And it sounds like Polycoro is going to kind of sort of immerse the audience by spreading out. Is that the case as well?
Yeah, so we're going to be on either side of the projections, on the balcony for some of the concert, and then for other pieces we'll be down on the floor, but again, kind of on the side so that the projections are front and center. But yeah, all of these pieces were written to be performed in these Italian churches that had multiple balconies. So it kind of created the original surround sound experience before that was really a thing. And we're trying to recreate that as best we can in Crescent Fort Rouge, and I think it will work really well.
I think so too. As you say, all this going down at Crescent Fort Rouge United Church, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This just the first weekend. Things culminate on Friday, the 15th, with a performance of Bach's St. John Passion. That is going to be an interview in and of itself. But just a quick word, Kathleen, on this production of St. John Passion. What can audiences expect?
The three choirs are joining their forces to make a Winnipeg super choir, and we are bringing in the Pacific Baroque Orchestra. They haven't been here since 2018. They are some of the leading period instrument interpreters on this repertoire. It's going to be really an event not to miss. So we'll talk more about it, I hope.
Yes, we most certainly will. But in the meantime, people can find more details up at deadofwinter.ca. They've got all the details up there. Festival passes are $80, and you can, again, purchase those. That runs through this weekend, the 8th, 9th, and 10th, and then the festival culminating on the 15th. Zore, Kathleen, Roland, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks for having us.